Well, hello, it's Denise. And before we jump in today, I want to let you in on the big celebration. We are celebrating the release of my brand new book, Embrace Your Power and Go. I am so excited to have this book come to life. And even more, I'm excited to share it with you. You see, you're connected to me, so I want you to have the inside scoop. I've decided to do an author's release of the book for those that are connected to me to get the book first. And in addition to that, I have two bonuses that are going to come along with you purchasing your book directly from me during this author's release. The first is this: I will autograph your book for you. I am so excited about that. And the second is I am going to do a live interactive meet and greet so that we can talk about the book once it reaches your hands. The author's release, those purchases can take place until the end of February, so don't miss out. Make your purchase today. You can learn more about the author release on my website at www.denisetaylor.live. The book is extremely affordable, but it will change the game for you. This 30-day journey will take you through a daily process of truly getting out of the starting blocks and moving fast and furious to the things that you want to accomplish. You see, I say it all the time that God did not give us a spirit of fear, but He gave us power. And with that power, we can be, do, have, and achieve anything we want. I put pen to paper so that you had the tools, that you had the resources, and you had everything to change the game for you. So this book is for those who have been stalled out, feeling stuck, needing motivation, inspiration, and guidance to truly bringing their visions to life. You don't want to delay. Get a copy of the book today and get one for your friend. Make sure you include them on your journey. Visit my website at www.denisetaylor.live to get your author release copy. The books will go out at the end of February, so don't miss your opportunity to grab a copy and really embrace your power. Well, hello, it's Denise Taylor, and I'm always excited to have you join me right here on Life, Love, and the Pursuit of Happiness. Now, this is the place where you can count on me to encourage you to build a life you love without apology. You see, I believe that God has given us power. He did not give us fear. And with the power, when we embrace it, we can be, do, have, and achieve anything we want. Now, I believe that thing is going to be God inspired. He has something that He is trying to accomplish in the earth realm, and He wants to do it through you and me. Now, whether you're watching on YouTube or you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, I am glad you're here and you are in for a treat. We have been discovering more about my new book, Embrace Your Power and Go. I am so excited for the download that is being shared with you to help you get past ready and set and go. You know, one of the things that I enjoy is seeing the remarkable glee in the eyes of people who get out of the starting blocks. I know that that can be a very overwhelming, trapping experience when you have a vision that you have received that can be a bit overwhelming and you're all set and ready to go, but yet you feel paralyzed. You feel overwhelmed. And so what I am hoping to do through the resource of this book is help you get out of the starting block and really accelerate and go. And so I hope that you will get a copy of Embrace Your Power and Go. I hope that you will be enlightened and encouraged as you spend time with it. It's a 30-day journey. And so each and every day you get a chance to unpack and discover more about your focus, about your goal, and really shore up your ability to just simply get going. Now, we've been unpacking all of the success superpowers, and they are featured in the book as well. So let me just do a little bit of a review in case somebody is catching up with us for the very first time. Now, the first success superpower is this: see yourself successful. You have got to envision your success, because when you can envision it, it becomes real to you. You can then believe it, and you can ultimately achieve it. Now, I will say this: a God-sized vision can be intimidating. And what you want to avoid doing is shrinking it down. You don't want to shrink it down. You want to leave room for God to be able to get in there. So when you visit the future, when you visit that which you're going to achieve, allow it to continue to be big. Allow it to just overwhelm you for a little bit, because then there's room for God to get in there and make some amazing things happen. So number one is see yourself successful. Number two is shake off fear. Now, this is the one that usually paralyzes us the most. It's the fear of success, the fear of failure, the fear of judgment, all the confusion that swirls around in this state when we finally get a glimpse of just how big the vision is. But with that, you need to shake off fear. You need to shake off everything that is appearing real and appearing against that which you know God has given you inspiration to accomplish. Now, this is the place where if we aren't careful, we will begin to shrink the vision down to what we believe we can achieve or what feels attainable based on reality. But you want to leave it big so that room is there for God, and you want to shake off fear, because He has given you power. He is not giving you fear. And with that power, you can achieve. Now, number three is do the work. This is where the rubber meets the road. You have to be willing to put your hand to the plow and do the work. But here's the thing: you have a promise. The promise is God will bless the work of your hands. So do the work, commit to the vision, and go strong. Now, today we will be unpacking success superpower number 4. And this is a critical one to the sustainability of the journey. This is take care of you. Now, I will tell you, the mantle of greatness tied to anything that God inspires is big. It's often heavy and it's demanding. So you're going to have to be able to come up with strategies that will keep you aligned to move forward successfully. When you're called to achieve, you will take on a lot. And when you take on the demand of that call in your own strength, it is without fail that you will be overwhelmed. Chasing the dream, grinding after it, hustling after it will do nothing more than wear you out. That is why it is critically important for you to develop a planned approach to taking care of you. You want to go fast, you want to go hard, but sometimes that can work to our detriment, especially if we don't have practices in place to keep ourselves calibrated. There are so many aspects of you. There's so many perspectives that make up who you are. And that is why it is important that you don't discount any of them. And there is a maintenance plan in place to ensure that they all can be upheld. Driving ourselves hard feels like the right thing, and it's usually done with good intentions, but it will burn us out without proper self-care. Now, oftentimes we want to relegate self-care to manicures and pedicures, but we got too much baggage and too much responsibility to keep it limited to that. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm a nails girl. I'm a pedicure girl. And so I love all the things. But I also realized the importance of having someone in my life that I can talk to so I could decompress my mind. I also realized the importance of having someone I could talk to so that I can keep my financial affairs in order. I also realized the importance to have someone that I can talk to so that I can remain spiritually sound. I also understand the importance that I can have someone that I can count on to be relationally strong with. And the aspects of me go on and on. It is up to me to ensure that all of the areas of my life have appropriate and proper attention. I cannot just care for the exterior alone. There's way too much going on with me, and greatness demands so much from me that I have to come up with a strategy to take care of me. Now, I will tell you, this may require investment. This may require you to establish a routine of massage, to establish a routine of fitness, to establish a routine of investing in yourself with the right devotionals, in the right studies, in the right quiet time. But that investment is what's going to gird you up for the journey. And it is a very conscientious act to promote your own physical, mental, and emotional health. Now, around these parts, I believe in Jesus, but I believe in therapy. There are so many things that have come as a result of our experiences. If you know anything about me, then you know I have trauma in my past. So there are things that I have to work through so that they don't keep me tethered to pain, and I can begin to go wholeheartedly, full gusto after everything that God has intended for me to pursue. Now, I thought it would be incredibly important to have a very great voice weigh in on making this a priority. So I have asked for Andrea to come and share of her journey. She is going to help us understand how to really package an approach to tend to ourselves fully as it relates to mind, body, and spirit. So I wanted to jump in a little bit because I think every time that we talk about these different superpowers, it's so important to bring some real life experience to the table. And so today I have asked Andrea Johnson to join me so that she can share from her experience. Now, I'll tell you, when I got a glimpse in to the holistic approach that she was bringing to the table with helping people to really take back the control of their lives, I was thoroughly impressed. And so when I was thinking about who could help me dive in deeper with this whole concept of take care of you, her face illuminated right before me. And she agreed to come and talk with us. So I want to welcome you to Life, Love, and the Pursuit of Happiness. Tell us a little bit more about you.
Hello, guys. Thank you so much, Denise, for having me on. I am, like you said, Andrea Johnson, aka Coach Drea. You know, I'm in the fitness industry and people kind of refer to me as such. A little bit about me and what I do. Just that I help women of faith lose weight and so that they can show up with confidence, right? And thrive in every area of their life, not just the health and wellness industry, because a lot of these things tap into other areas of their lives.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, the thing that I noticed is when I was scrolling and I saw your posts, while the goal was weight loss and wellness, everything that you talked about underneath that encompassed so much more. And I was like, bing, that is the entire approach of take care of you, because so many people relegate it to what I think is more superficial: nails, hair, pedicure, those types of things when they think of how they maintain themselves. So unpack for me the vision that you work within when you're helping to bring this perspective to life for yourself, as well as with those that you work with.
Yeah, I grew up in the church, right, where it was all focused on the spiritual man. Coming along in this industry, fitness, where it's kind of almost always focused on the physical. I just immediately saw the gap. Like we weren't taking care of the total man. And it hinders us in a lot of areas of our lives. We're just depleted. And so temple training just came into play so that we can marry the two, faith and fitness, because our bodies are our temple, right? And if we are not taking care of this, how are we going to walk in the purpose that God has given to us with great effectiveness in the kingdom? And so that's just it. So when you come into this space, we're not just talking about physical. We need to know that you are healthy, body, mind, and spirit, all of the things working towards that goal.
Mm-hmm. And so when you're helping someone develop their strategy, their approach, how do you hone into body, mind, and spirit? Like, what's the journey that you take them on to set some priorities, some goals, and even some tactics and strategies around you got to take care of this aspect and this aspect? And what does that look like?
Well, just that. So we assess all the areas. We talk about what are you doing to elevate your spirit man? Are you taking time alone meditating? Have you implemented some kind of sleep ritual so that your body can settle down at night so it can replenish to wake up in the morning? Are you overdoing it in the gym? Taking care of your body is awesome, but there's a point where you can overdo it. And then of course, nutritionally, it fuels everything, so if you're feeling sleepy, tired, if you're lethargic, midday or something like that, where can we tweak some things in the nutrition area so that you can fuel what you're doing? So we try to ask the blanket question about how are you doing? And then what small practices can we implement to get you to the goal that you're trying to achieve?
So when you look at your experience and the deliberate things that Andrea does to train herself, right? I know we've talked about some of the visioning that you are discovering as you unpack yourself and get ready for your goals and what you want to achieve this year. Like, what do you encompass for you? And what has that personal journey been like trying to bring these two perspectives together, faith and physical?
That's a good question because growing up in the church, we can focus on one thing at a time. And what I am learning is, yes, I must put God first. I have to in everything that I do. He is omniscient, right? So he knows everything. If my path, my purpose, when I'm not doing the things I need to do and when I am. So I must put God first. I have to. That starts my day. I take care of myself first through this technique that I learned through Hal Elrod called the Miracle Morning. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but it's in the morning where you're taking time for silence. You are verbally reciting affirmations. You are taking time to visualize that goal as if you are right there in the midst of it all. And then, of course, exercise, reading, and journaling. All of these things help me personally to make sure that I'm moving towards that goal. But more specifically this year, we deemed this year 2022 the year of double down. And so any of these areas where I feel like I'm faltering, for example, Bible study, it's so easy to take these things and push them aside because other things might take priority. But are those other things actually helping you in the long run? We always want to think about longevity. And so this year of 2022, one of the things I want to put in top priority is, again, realigning that relationship with God through study is just important for me this year.
Mm-hmm. And that goes along with, and I love everything the Miracle Morning represents. I've never heard of that, but it's a very powerful concept. In fact, it's how I spend most of my mornings, aside from exercise. It's how I spend most of my mornings. And I will tell you that there is a development that happens when you invest in your morning that way. There is a birthing that happens in the freshness of the day when you have clarity of mind and you can begin to open yourself up to affirm what you believe about yourself, receive the goodness of God through the word and through reading, and just really take time of worship in that perspective. For me, one of the things that I layered into my morning time was more stretching and, just more meditation and like yoga. And it was very releasing. It felt very cleansing. It felt very awakening. And so I've never heard it described as a miracle morning, but I have had the experience of how powerful that is. And so that's very good to hear. And what I like is how you prioritize that. When I think back to all of the elements that you layered in to take care of you, when you thought about what needed to come to the table, it wasn't just my physical body strength, though your arms are the best now. I peek the little pictures. I'm like, man, her arms are really dope. But it's not just about the physical strength, the physical appearance. It's the holistic package and being very intentional about bringing that to your day in your life. Now, let me ask you this, because I know you help facilitate and guide others through that experience. But for you, how has doing this changed your life?
Such a good question. So being physically fit, like in the gym, I have seen the most unhealthy, physically fit people. How is that even possible, right? They're so stuck on the mirror that they are neglecting other areas of their life, and they're not actually moving in a place of contentment, right? One of the things that you brought up in your book was that commitment, the consistency, and the confidence. I like to throw on the edge of that also contentment, because that is kind of like the end result there, right? And if they're so hyper focused on one area, they're missing it out, right? So what I find that is when I'm feeling defeated or I'm feeling lost, I have to check on those areas. I have to look to see what have I let slip through the cracks. I think that's crucial.
Yeah. And from keeping that close perspective, what do you think has been the biggest result you've seen? Is it a better you? Is it a better you physically? Are your relationships improved? Like, what has been the winning, spoil of all this diligence?
It 100%. It's better relationships. You do the same. We wear many hats, right? We're wife, we're mother, we're entrepreneur, not even thinking about all of the other things that we do when we are like giving of our time and things of that nature. But for me to be able to be present, mindful, with a positive perspective in those areas, that's something that I have to start from the inside out. And so being present with the kids, my youngest is 16. My oldest is 25. And so being present with them is really important to me. I'm an auntie. I have to be able to be that example for my nieces. And then of course, once the kids are all gone and out of the house, it's me and my husband relationship. Like this is a lifetime relationship. And if I'm not well, on the inside, how is that relationship going to be well? The Bible talks about that, to love others like you love yourself, right? So how can you present that love if you don't have that love for yourself? How can you?
Now, I really enjoyed the nuggets that Andrea shared. And I too have personally learned the value of prioritizing my needs. I have accepted that I am worthy of that investment of my time, talent, and treasure. During the pandemic myself, I had to double down on what was necessary for me to thrive. While I have a huge capacity and I can juggle all the things, I really had to anchor in on the fact that I needed to bring some regimens into my life to help bring proper perspective and balance to everything that I was juggling. The reality is, the zone feels good and you can get a natural high from grinding it out, but you are wearing yourself thin if you don't take care of you. I believe also that we need a holistic strategy to take care of ourselves, one that we make ourselves regularly accountable for, one that meets the needs of who we are fully. I believe that God stimulates us and helps us to understand when it's time for us to be intentional about taking care of us. But sometimes we ignore the signs. We ignore the pressure points that says, hey, you need to introduce massage. You need to introduce walking. You need to introduce vacation. You need to introduce healthier eating. You need to introduce meditation. You need to introduce therapy. We ignore the signs that first started out as pressure points until they become too much. One of the examples I like to use is that you have a different price when you regularly maintain something versus when you let it go to its breaking point. The best example I can think of is brakes on a car. Now, I don't know about you, but I've had the experience that if I let the brake problem go too long, when it's time for repair, I need more than pads. I need rotors, and that costs way more. But if I regularly go in and have my brakes checked, and they look at the pads and its wear on a regular, consistent basis, I am able to get brake pads at a much less cost than what it would take for me to have to do the entire brake job. That comes with maintenance. That comes with the plan. That comes with strategy. That comes by being attentive to what my car needs. And so in the same vein, as I am willing to tend to my car, I need to tend to myself. I need to make sure that I am investing holistically into what I need. This is critically important for the journey of success because we want it all, but can we really bear it all? We want success, but can we really handle success? The weight of it is enormous. The responsibility is demanding. And I will tell you that God is not going to put more on you than you can bear, which means that if it's on you, then you should be able to bear it. And if you're not bearing it well, chances are your self-care strategy is lacking. So that is why this is SuperPower number 4. We must take care of ourselves. And part of my book takes you on a journey to discover more about how to develop in this area. We can't overlook any longer what is needed for our best interests. We must take the time. We must invest in ourselves. We must make our self-care, taking care of us, a priority. So, Andrea, I wanted to have you back to help me close out the show. What I always love to do at the end is really tap into wisdom, because the Bible, of course, tells us it's the principal thing, but I think it's the thing that is the learning. It's the value of our experiences. And so I love to tap in because I think that is where the richness is. So I'll close out with my standard LLH questions, life, love, and happiness questions. And so tell me, what would you tell your younger self about life if you could?
You know, as I love this question because there's so many things that I could say, but the one thing that really jumps out at me is just that, baby girl, focus on loving yourself and becoming the best version of you. Everything else will fall into place. Mm-hmm. Everything else, and it will be good. I promise.
Oh, that's so beautiful. We are so anxious, aren't we? Especially when we're younger and we get older and we'll be like, slow down, girl. You'll be all right.
Yes.
All right. So what would you tell your younger self about love if you could?
It's work. Don't think that this love is going to be easy, but it will be worth it.
That's good. You speak from at least your tone gives an indication of experience. Mm-hmm. And I know that relationship is not easy at all. It takes an investment of every aspect of who we are. And so in that one sentence, it's work that covers so much of what you have to be committed to. I don't want to say enduring because we're gracious about the journey, right? We're thankful for the journey. So I don't want to say I endured this, right? But you had to surrender yourself to be vulnerable in ways that you had no idea you were going to have to when you started out. And so that is the mark of what that sentence represents, because I think sometimes people hear it and they're trying to equate it to that 9 to 5. That's not what this is. So when we talk about work, it's the me work. It's the growth that it requires of you to go the distance for as long as you have. And so I think that that's beautiful that that's where you went with it, because that is the cream of the journey. All right. So tell me, what would you tell your younger self about happiness if you could?
Oh, so this is a good one. So I kind of want to deviate from your happiness word because I almost think that sometimes people equate happiness with something. I'll be happy when, and to me, it's more joy. And that means just being present in the moment, right? Don't rush it. Don't try to get to tomorrow before tomorrow comes in. Enjoy the moment, because it's in that we create those memories and we find true happiness or true joy, instead of waiting for that thing to come. I'll be happy when.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's solid. I appreciate you sharing that. Mm-hmm. So thank you for coming and being a part and sharing just a little bit. We'll have to have you back because there's a wealth of wisdom behind those few little words that you've shared. And I just want to tell you, success looks so good on you.
Thank you so much. Again, I really appreciate you even thinking of me. So thank you. Thank you for this opportunity.
You're welcome. So I just want to close out again with my personal invitation for you truly to embrace your power. Making resources available is something that I am most committed to in 2022. I want to see us truly put things in motion to build a life that we love. I want us to remove excuses and become more determined to truly be, do, have, and achieve. That is one of the reasons why I am so excited to have put pen to paper and written this book. You see, Embrace Your Power and Go is truly going to be the lifeline to the one who is ready to experience the life that they deserve. And here's the thing, I believe that you deserve to live a life you love. You have to build that life. And that means choices around commitment, consistency, and confidence. But once you nail that you really want what you really want, resources like this book is going to help you make forward movement. I want you to achieve. I want you to excel. It's the reason why I took time to to write a book about it. So be a part of the author's release. Get your copy, and even more, make plans to be a part of that meet and greet, because I am going to be on fire to accelerate you to where it is you need to be. We are going to achieve this year. We're going to hit our goals, and the resources that are in place for you to do so are ones that you need to take advantage of. So make sure you're a part of the author's release. It's my signature release of this book, and I am so excited. Thanks for tuning in.